Chapter 10. The rest of the school year passed in a whirlwind of activity, from lessons to tests, and finally the final exams came and went. Harry's days were filled with training and studying to the point that was all he knew. Still ensconced in the Slytherin dorms, not that any of the professors noticed, or even cared. He kept up his weekly tea with Moody and kept his daily joys with his friends, his real friends. By this point, no one outside of his group talked to him anymore except for Fleur and Crumb. Both had come to him a week after the task and had congratulated him. Fleur went as far as to call him her savior and refused to let him correct her. Saving her sister had meant more to her than winning the tournament, and he found himself with 2 more people in his corner. It felt like the end was coming upon all of them, and soon they found themselves being summoned to the Quidditch pitch. He went by himself, as was asked by the judges, and when he arrived, he looked on in horror at the pitch. The pristine grass had been grown and shaped into walls and twists and turns. A maze. The last task was a maze. Our poor pitch. Crumb nodded next to him. It is horrible. Quidditch pitch deserves more respect than this. His words were heavy with his anger. Harry glanced and saw Cedric wasn't very happy about it either. Crouch Sr. waved away the concerns. Worry not. It will be returned to its former glory after the last task. I'm here to tell you what this last task is. This maze is going to be filled with creatures, traps, and other things to stop you from reaching the center. You will enter in the order of your current placings. There is no time limit. The first to reach the center and grab the cup is the winner. Harry groaned. So our current points till now mean nothing? Precisely. The point system was to see who would have the advantage in the final task. Mr. Crumb will enter first, followed by Mr. Diggory and you, Mr. Potter. Miss Delacour will go last. You may use all any means necessary to get to the center. People have died in this tournament, so train well. They were dismissed, and Harry went to head back to the castle. They would get a kick out of this for sure. It wasn't every day they were told that they would face danger in a bleeding maze. He was not sure about all of this. Something about this whole year had just seemed off. He felt like he should talk to someone about it. He cast a soft tempest and smiled. Moody would be in a free period right now. With that, he changed direction till he got to the man's office and knocked. Come in, the gruff voice sounded. Harry stepped into the office and smiled at the man. Hey. Ah, Harry, come in. What can I do for you today? He came into the office and shut the door behind him, taking in a large room with no mirrors or portraits to be seen. Just the large desk, rows of bookcases and books. A large trunk off to the side and other knickknacks that he couldn't even begin to guess at. He took a seat across from the man. Just found out what the last task is. Ah, the maze. Nasty bit of magic. Had me help build the thing. Can't be telling what's in it now, but if I were you, I would be looking into some more exotic spells. Harry smiled and took a seat across from him. Professor, I know I probably shouldn't, but I wanted to talk to you about something. The man eased his wooden leg off and rested it against the desk as he got comfortable. You can talk to me about anything, Harry. We have become friends this past year. I know, and I appreciate it. You and the others were about the only people I can rely on. It's about, well, he who must not be named. He shifted in his seat. I've heard things, learned things, and I wanted to know more. Where is all this coming from? Moody asked carefully, his tongue flicking rapidly. I'm thinking of declaring myself neutral. I don't want to fight. I don't want to be a part of any of it. I just want to live my life, have a family. He sighed and lifted one leg up on the chair so he could wrap his arms around it. All I've ever wanted was a place to belong. People who loved and accepted me for who I am. Moody gazed at the younger and leaned back into his chair, his fingers tapping. If you were to go neutral, he most likely would not truly pursue you, but I cannot say the same for his followers or supporters. Harry, you are a bright beacon to this world for the past. It is not an easy beacon to leave behind. I didn't even do anything. I'm some hero for something I didn't even do. They hold me up like I'm this great person, but I'm not. I'm just a boy without a home, without a family. You've got a family. You go there every summer, according to Albus. They aren't a family. Not really. They don't want me, and they certainly don't love me. I'm just a useless freak they can't get rid of. Moody's body tensed. Harry, is something going on at home? Harry gripped his leg tighter. Doesn't matter. He'll just side with Dumbledore. All the adults do. Moody scoffed. I will have you know I don't side with anyone but myself. You don't live as long as I do and rely on people, Harry. Talk to me. Harry glanced at the man, and out it came. He told the other everything he had with Marcus. Once done, he couldn't even look up at the man. Marcus said, Harry cut off, realizing he didn't want to implement his boyfriend in a scheme. Well, I think I know exactly what young Master Flint is thinking. I'm thinking much the same. You see, Harry, children are very special in the magic world. Sacred, even. They should be cherished and loved, no matter their blood. There are so very few of us. I did not have the best childhood, either, and I think we can both help each other. Harry flushed and nodded. Marcus told me about that. As he should. Look, if you wish to become neutral, then you should. But you must understand, he may still come after you. Constant vigilance. So you think he's coming back too? I do. A man like that, a power like that, finds a way to resurface. No body was found, and there have been rumors, here and in other places. His followers talk of his return. I would be a fool not to heed it. He waved his hands and a hot cup of tea was floated to him. How do I declare neutrality? The man frowned. When the war comes, and it will, I would do so publicly. Maybe in the paper or in a public place where word can spread, or request a meeting. Harry froze. With him? Yes. There are laws, magical laws, that would allow for neutral discussion without harm to the other. They are rarely used. One place is the Wizengot. No one may use magic within the chamber while it is in session. Green eyes closed. Oh, I didn't know. There's so much I don't know. You will learn. You're a smart lad. Now, I do believe you have places to be, and I have this last paper to grade. Unless you feel like helping. Harry laughed and set the empty mug down. I don't think I'm qualified to grade papers. Thank you for listening, Professor. Anytime, Harry. Run along now. Harry left quickly, and he made his way to the Slytherin dorms. He knew going to Moody would help him feel a bit better. Now, though, he had to find a way to get through a maze. He didn't care about winning, but he did want to survive. He went through the portrait and noticed a lot of people were in the common room. Even Malfoy and a few others. Marcus stood from his seat and stepped up to him. Harry, what did they say? He frowned. Here? Did the rest of the Slytherin finally feel comfortable with him being here? He had noticed they didn't fully ignore him anymore. Someone had even passed him a platter at dinner the night before when Marcus wasn't there. He flushed. It's a maze. They turned the entire Quidditch pitch into a maze. We have to work our way through. Traps, magical creatures. Malfoy made a noise. They destroyed the Quidditch pitch, he snarled with anger. Harry grinned. Diggory, Victor, and I felt pretty much the same way. It's disrespectful, but we have to make it through the maze, and the first to grab the trophy wins the whole tournament. The point system was to determine who entered the maze. He was led over to the couch and sat down between Marcus and Adrian. He leaned back and closed his eyes, trying to think of what to do. Then he looked at Malfoy and the others glanced around. So, I'm just going to address the current situation. Everyone is here because... Terrence spoke up from the fireplace. Marcus and I had a house meeting while you were in the judges. It has been decided to declare you an honorary Slytherin. You will always be welcome within these dorms. You will be treated like a fellow Slytherin by everyone. Green eyes blinked, and he looked at Malfoy. You agreed to this? The blonde scoffed. Look, I don't like you, but you're not as bad as I thought. If Flint says you're fine, then I will accept it. Don't expect me to stick my neck out for you or anything. You're still a golden boy. Harry laughed. Maybe you want a complete twit. All right, Malfoy. He held out his hand. Truce? Gray eyes widened and stared at the hand a moment before looking up at the owner of it. Truce. He took the hand and shook it firmly. Warmth spread up both of their arms as their magic mixed and formed a truce bond. The younger smiled. Thanks, Malfoy. Then leaned back and sighed. Now to survive a killer maze. Chapter 11. He had this. He had to do this. He could make it. He could survive. The past couple of days had been a blur of activity. The death of Barty Crouch Sr. had shaken the school, but now it was nothing but a buzz about the task. He was already in the tent, waiting to be led to the maze. The stands were packed, and even parents had been allowed to attend. He was dressed in his latest gift from Marcus, battle robes. They were a dark green with black trim and runes sewn into the fabric. Thick dragonhide boots and gloves made up the outfit, and he felt like he could fight a dragon. He wasn't the only one dressed like this either. Victor wore similar clothing, and floors appeared to be made out of some sort of shimmering silk. He checked his blade and wand before touching the necklace he always wore. Victor stepped over and looked at him. Are you ready? As ready as I can ever be. He smiled up at the larger seeker and started his stretching. I don't really want to win. I just want to survive. The other nodded and smiled at him and left to do his own warm-up. Harry's stomach was flip-flopping about, and he was glad he had decided not to eat lunch before this. He would probably be seeing it again if he had. The sound of the crowd cheering and someone stepped in and began directing them out of the tent and towards the entrance of the maze. Even though the sun hadn't set, the maze looked dark and menacing. Victor went first, giving a wave to the cheering crowd before entering. A few moments later, Diggory was heading in, and then finally, him. He didn't wave to the crowd. He remained focused and stepped into the maze and took a right, making his way through without much fuss at first. It grew darker as he made his way through. He felt like he was dragging himself through soup. Things tugged at his arms and legs that he couldn't see. It wasn't until he felt something brush the back of his neck. He whirled, and 8 beady red eyes met his gaze. He fell back, casting a quick blasting curse, sending the giant spider sliding back. And Harry took the moment to get his bearings on his surroundings. He cast another spell, and the fog cleared up some, and he noticed the webbing on the floor and walls, clinging to his clothes and skin. Another spider crawled toward him, and he slashed at it with a spell. They began crawling from the ceiling and walls, launching at him. Fangs snapping and legs climbing up him. A searing pain in his left calf had him looking down, and he shook the spider off before throwing another off his shoulder. He had stepped in it. His head spun as the venom took effect, and he blasted 2 more away, sliced another legs off with his dagger. Breaking free of the small nest of Acromantilus, to duck around the corner and get away. His leg burned and he reached into his pouch, pulling out the anti-venom. He'd never been more grateful for Terrence and his foresight to give him a few potions. It wouldn't work completely, and he wouldn't heal the bleeding bite, but he wouldn't die either. Downing it quickly, he bound his wound with a quick word. He settled a hand over his familiar and started heading toward the path further, hearing a scream and a flash of sparkles in the air. Floor. She was out. He shuddered and worked his way further into the maze. He turned the corner and a deep cold began to settle into his bones. He looked up at the dark, wispy cloak figure heading towards him. He raised his wand. Expecto Patronum! The silvery mist appeared. Then a creature burst from his wand and ran its way to the Dementor. Harry stared in awe at the strange lizard that hissed and spit silver-white flames from its mouth, that lapped and ate at the Dementor. The creature screamed and fled. The lizard turned back to him, its bright frills swishing in non-existent wind. Harry reached out and the lizard made a soft growling sound and rubbed up against him. You're not my prongs. How? He rubbed under its chin, the creature coming up to his knee. A mystery for another time. He dismissed the spell and continued along the path until he had to jump back and dodge a ball of fire. He glanced up. Blast ended squirts. Seriously? A quick severing charm and the creature screamed and began to hobble about without a couple of legs, long enough for Harry to turn the corner and move on. Then came the screaming. Harry cussed and debated on following the screams or taking the other fork in the road. But the guilt ate at him, and he turned towards the screaming. Victor stood over Cedric, casting a spell over him that had the other champions screaming and writhing. The glazed look in the other's eye made a shiver run along his spine. He cast a quick stunner and sent up sparks before taking off further into the maze. Was he the only champion left now? He didn't know if they would pick up both Cedric and Victor, or just one. He didn't care. He wanted to get this over with. A few more turns and he came to a large circular space. He stopped, looking around calmly. A smooth laugh had him turning, and Harry took a few steps back, raising his wand. The large creature was beautiful, with the body of a lion and the head of a woman. It simply looked at him for a few moments before speaking. A fellow lion at my door. How lovely it is to see. The creature crossed its great paws. What you seek lies behind me, and beside you there is an exit. To get past me, you must answer my riddle or take the path back. Know this, if you answer my riddle and do not answer correctly, I will kill you. Harry took a deep breath. He could walk away right now, be done with the maze and the tournament. Would Marcus be disappointed if he turned back now? He took a few moments to think it over. All right, give me your riddle. The creature smiled lovingly. First, think of the person who lives in disguise, who deals in secrets and tells naught but lies. Next, tell me what's always the last thing to mend, the middle of middle, and the end of end. And finally, give me the sound often heard during the search for a hard-to-find word. Now string them together and answer me this. Which creature would you be unwilling to kiss? Well, that was helpful. A person who lived in disguise and dealt with secrets. A spy. The middle of middle and the end of end. D was in the center and the end, but the last one he wasn't sure. During the search for a hard-to-find word. That was, wait, spy, D, spider. The Sphinx nodded to him and stepped to the side, revealing a path he had not seen before. Well done, little cub. Be careful on your journey. He nodded to her and walked past, following a long path that seemed clear of any trap or creature for the most part. The path opened to a room with a large pillow in the center. Atop it was a trophy of gold. There it was, the end of the line. He looked around and saw that no one else was there. He took a deep breath and walked forward, reaching for the cup and picking it up firmly. The sickening pull at his stomach, and Harry was jerked through a straw, or that's how it felt, until he spilled out onto the dirt. Did it take him to the front of the maze? He sat up and froze. This was not the maze. Deep, rich earth and the scent of decay filled his nostrils. Headstones surrounded the area, but where he was seemed to be cleared of them. There was a large fire and a cauldron sat above it bubbling. He had only just looked up to see a large angel statue when a hissing sound came from behind him. He turned and saw a large snake, deep greens and grays making up the scales. It could easily swallow a full-sized man whole if it wanted to. He could feel his own serpent companion perking up in interest. He never left without the snake anymore, but had asked him not to get involved during the tournament. "Wait, don't. I won't hurt you." The snake tilted its head before giving a hissing laugh. "Silly hatchling can speak. Master was right. Silly hatching will give Nagini his wand now." Harry frowned. "Why am I giving you my wand?" "Master wishes to speak. You will speak to the master. Give Nagini the pretty stick." The horned serpent around his neck hissed and hooded up. "Whoever will hold master's wand and come with Nagini." The snakes watched either other. A moment before, the large female snake coiled. "It's acceptable. Come, little night hatchling. No harm." Harry took a deep breath and handed his wand to his familiar, watching as the snake touched the wand with the jewel on his head, and the wand seemed to sink into the gem before he slid off Harry, joining the other snake. The two sent and curled around each other. He had a feeling who her master was. There was only one other speaker.
Well, my loyal follower was speaking the truth."
Harry turned and took a step back, his body tensing. Peter stood in front of the statue, holding a bundle of cloth that spoke in soft, hissing words. "You turned the trophy into a portkey. I'm guessing you're the one who had me entered into the tournament?"
"Indeed. I needed your presence away from the old fool. Originally, I was going to take what I needed and simply kill you. But it seems my loyal servant wishes for us to speak. So I will give you a choice."
Harry frowned. "What are the choices?" Peter didn't say anything. He simply held the bundle, shaking like a scared rat he was. The bundle spoke again.
"You will assist me in the ritual tonight and give me what I need. Or I shall take what I need and kill you as planned."
That wasn't a choice at all. "What do you need me to do? And what do I get in return?" The Dark Lord chuckled.
"You will give me your blood. Not much. Enough for the ritual, and after we will talk. Perhaps not tonight, but we will speak under the old odds of the Peace Pact."
Harry shifted uneasily. Blood was important. He knew that. So many things could go wrong with giving him blood. But that chance of being able to sit down and maybe get neutrality from the war, something in Harry wanted this chance. "All right, I'll help you. But I would like you to answer a question tonight as well. One not related to our later talk." Silence met him, and Pettigrew looked like he wanted to curse the young wizard on the spot. Then finally the laugh returned.
"All right, Potter, ask your question."
The Gryffindor took a step closer. "Why did you try to spare my mother?"
"Curious. How did you know I tried to spare her? I wonder." An interesting event to remember. I did try to spare your mother. One of my followers asked for her safety. I'm not blind to mercy or the hearts of my followers, despite what Dumbledore claims.
Harry closed his eyes and gave a small smile. Things were a little clearer, but the swirling questions didn't want to relent. He wanted to ask everything. Why him? Why his family? But he had been permitted one. Maybe when they spoke, he could ask more. Thank you for trying to let her live. What do you need me to do? Voldemort made an interested sound.
You will stand at the North Point until Pettigrew gives you the signal to place your blood in the cauldron. We need enough to turn the mixture blue. Then you may stop. If you do not know the spell to stop the bleeding, one of us will help you.
Well, that was well spoken and kindly told. He was seeing less of the crazed psychopath he had been told about. I can bandage it. He took a few deep breaths and walked to the spot that was marked north. He was glad he had been learning about this kind of stuff from Marcus. Marcus loved his runes, arithmancy, and numerology. He said the numbers and runes were something that came more easily to him. Words and general information just seemed to go in one ear and out the other. Harry thought he was just brilliant. How animated Marcus became when he began talking about new runes he learned warmed him.
Now, Potter.
Harry jumped and blinked a couple of times from spacing out. They were already so far in the ritual. He walked forward and pulled the hidden blade at his calf, walked up to the cauldron and sliced his palm, holding the bleeding hand over the cauldron as Wormtail watched.
We need more blood, Potter.
He swiped his own knife, and the sharp blade sliced clean through the flesh along his forearm. Oh, fuck! What the hell? I was giving it willingly. The cut stung and burned, but Harry just bit his lip and hung in there. He was starting to get a bit lightheaded before the liquid finally changed color. And he pulled back, reaching for his wand, forgetting it had been taken. Shit. He looked up at the cry of pain and watched Wormtail cut his own hand off into the cauldron before dumping the bundle into it next. Harry gasped and backed up till it touched the large stone angel, watching as it bubbled and churned, thick smoke billowing from the cauldron. It took all his willpower to fight the spotting in his eyes. A tall figure emerged from the cauldron, cloaked in black. It was hard to see his features as his vision blurred. Wormtail, why did you cut him so deeply? The child agreed to help. The snarling sound hit his ears as his vision went black. He felt cold and heavy. Potter! Hissing was the last thing he heard before the darkness claimed him. Chapter 12. Harry woke up with a start, his arm burning in pain. He groaned and gripped at the bandaging. He looked up to see Madame Pomfrey looking over him. It's all right, dear. You have been through a lot, I would think. She helped him sit up and gently tucked the blanket in around him. Why was she suddenly being so nice and careful with him? He blinked a few times, trying to recall what had happened. Things were foggy, but as they came into clarity, he slowly began to panic. Voldemort, the ritual. It all came swimming back. Potter, dear, the headmaster to see you here. He looked over to watch the Medi Nurse go and for Dumbledore to step up to him. His eyes twinkled with a soft smile. Harry, my boy, I must say, I owe you an apology. Had I known the trap that the tournament was, I would have helped you more. Harry looked up at the man. He's back. I don't know why, but he attacked me the moment the portkey happened. They tied me to a statue and took my blood. Dumbledore took his hand. Harry, what happened? Green eyes closed as he recalled it in clarity and told the man. It was awful. He was going on and on about his father and the hypocrisy of the government. He said that he would kill me before all of his followers and leave my body as a symbol of his return. Tears came to his eyes. There was no reasoning with such an evil man. Marcus and Moody had been wrong. No, that's right. He said he had a follower in the castle that put my name in the cup. Someone everybody thought was dead. Professor, he's here in the castle somewhere. The man laid a gentle hand on Harry's shoulder. We have already located them. Did he say anything else to you, Harry? How did you get away? Harry swallowed. He summoned all his followers there. Didn't call any of them by name. He made me bow and gave me my wand back. It was like he was toying with me. There was this terrible sound, and I accued the cup to me, and then... It's all dark, Professor. The man nodded solemnly. You came back, stumbling to the ground, screaming that Voldemort had returned before passing out. You were bleeding quite badly, but Madame Pomfrey got you treated up. I'm sorry, my boy, but there will be a scar. The knife he used was very dark magic. Not even Madame Pomfrey can reverse all the damage of it. He laid a hand on Harry's shoulder, patting it gently before taking his leave. Harry shook as he removed the bandage from his forearm. The new scar was a long, punctured line from his wrist and half up to his elbow. It looked like an older scar, but still, it felt so fresh to him. Even his hand had an odd ache. Wait, a snake. A Rarefell. I'm fine, hatchling. The hissing came from under his pillow on his right side. Harry picked up the beautiful snake and kissed the hood gently. I was worried you were harmed during the fight. I'm fine, hatchling. Listen closely. Memoria inversa. What did you say? His words cut off as his head flooded with new images and memories. The conversation and ritual. Wormtail nearly taking his arm off to get his blood, and Voldemort's anger after the fact. Flashback. Potter. A cool touch had him slowly coming to. He opened his eyes to look into the cool red-tinted brown of the other. The face was palm and sharp, with an aristocratic nose and pale lips. The hand was careful as it touched and soothed. His body still felt cold and heavy from blood loss. Pettigrew cut you deeply with a ritual blade. I can't heal it, but I stopped the blood long enough to speak to you. I'm going to alter your memories so that Dumbledore does not discover what truly transpired tonight. Your memory will revert once you are told a specific key word. We will speak again, Potter, as I promised. Do take care of my servant for me. He will be coming to you. The world going black once more. And a flashback. Altering his memory to cover his tracks. That made sense. But now his head was pounding, and he really wanted to get out of here. He laid back against the bed and looked down at his familiar. Did he tell you anything when he sent us back? Yes, hatchling. He said that I was a good familiar, and that I should stay closer to you from now on. That you are a hatchling. But I already knew this. You're a hatchling too, you know. Yes, but my venom is stronger. Harry laughed and just laid back in bed, letting his body rest. He wondered where Marcus and the others were. Surely they would come to see him in the hospital wing, unless Pomfrey wasn't letting anyone else in. Harry! He looked up and saw Ginny and Hermione running towards him. He flinched as they both hugged him at the same time, tears in their eyes. Oh, Harry, we were so worried. When Professor Dumbledore said you had been taken and hurt by you-know-who, we were so worried. Ginny was near sobbing as she clung to his hand. Harry, why didn't you tell us the whole tournament was a plot of you-know-who? We would have helped you. Hermione looked at him with big brown eyes. He didn't see Ron anywhere, but he was starting to get worried. They had ignored him all year, and now suddenly were worried about him? What are you two doing here? Ginny gasped. What do you mean, Harry? We're your friends. Harry glared. Friends don't insult and abandon each other. Oh, pish, Harry. It was a minor disagreement, and you started hanging out with those snakes. What were we supposed to do? Hermione said softly, taking his hand. One of those snakes is my betrothed. Take care of how you speak about him. Harry pulled his hands from their grips. Jenny shook her head. You can't be betrothed to a boy, Harry. It doesn't work like that. If you want betrothed, we can sign the contract. I would be such a good wife for you, Harry. His stomach churned and he gripped his hands into fists. Jenny, I will never marry you. I don't feel that way for you. I love Marcus, and you can't convince me otherwise. Our courtship is legal. Hermione and Jenny looked at him, and the former patted his hand. It's okay, Harry. You're in shock. You just need to rest and remember all the good times. Come on, Jenny. Let's let him get some rest. They both hugged him again, and Harry didn't move or relax until they were gone. He groaned and fell back against the pillow. I need to get out of here. The snake slid up and curled around his neck. Harry slowly sat up with his head spinning, but he didn't care. He threw back the covers and was relieved he was still dressed in his battle robe. His leg still bandaged from the bite, he checked to make sure his knife was still there and hidden before grabbing his wand and standing. His head swam more and he swayed on his feet. He barely got 2 steps before his vision spotted and he had to grab the bedpost tightly. He gripped it tightly and took another step, finding his footing slowly but surely. Careful there, Harry. Warm arms wrapped around him and pulled him against a hard, warm chest. He looked up to see an unfamiliar man holding him. He was draped in a dark cloak, with brown eyes, shaggy brown hair, and a grin on his slim face. He was tall and held him firmly. Something about the other was very familiar, and he watched the other's tongue dart out and run along his spouting lip. Moody? Body, actually. He smiled at Harry. I knew you would recognize me without that old Aura's face. I'm sorry for the deception, Harry. I have truly come to see you as my friend. Harry tried to pull away, but the other held fast. You put my name in the goblet. You tried to have me killed. Barty held him a bit tighter. At first, yes. But then I got to know you. It was always my intention to ask my lord to spare you. But then you came to me about wanting to go neutral. It was perfect. It was why I told him to speak to you. Wait. I told Dumbledore he had a spy here. They'll find you. Calm. They're looking for me now. I'm afraid I confiscated your broom. I only came to check on you before I leave. Be safe, Harry. I will be in touch soon. He kissed Harry's forehead and released him before heading to the window. Harry could hear shouting and screaming, and the doors to the medical wing burst open just as Barty crashed through the window and took off on the broom. Harry's broom. Shit. He swayed and watched as the adults began to bark orders and people from the ministry were there as well. He grits his teeth and slips out the door, begins heading towards the dungeons. He had to get away from it all. The way they were talking about him just needing rest and to remember the good times made a knot rest in his stomach. Voldemort had altered his memories so easily. Dumbledore could probably do the same. The journey was slow and agonizing. His legs throbbed, and though healed, his wrist and hand were not much better. Now he knew why his hand hurt. He finally made it to the portrait and gave the password, stumbling through the door and smack right into Malfoy, who looked to be coming out. Potter? What the hell? The blonde grabbed him, and Harry felt himself getting lifted or dragged to the soft surface and laid down. Marcus, Harry gasped out. He's not here. He was trying to see you in the hospital wing. Harry shuddered and curled tighter. Hurts. I want Marcus. His vision blurred again. By Merlin's balls, he's not looking good. Why did they let him out of the hospital wing like this? Someone go get Higgs, now! Malfoy looked him over. Let's get his robes off first. He might have other wounds other than the one we see bandaged. Be careful. Don't let his head hit anything. A few minutes later left Harry shivering in a pair of shorts and no shirt. Tucked under a few blankets by the fire, Terence hovered over him as he cast a few diagnostic spells. Hakromontulia venom. He took a potion for it, but it wasn't enough. It only delayed it. Traces of ritual magic, mind-altering spells, and traces of a potion I don't know. It was given recently, too. Harry groaned. Dumbledore, I think. Hermione and Jenny came to the hospital wing. They were talking about me sleeping and remembering the good times. Something about marrying Jenny. I can't. It's all foggy. Terence hushed him. Don't worry. We'll get you healed up. I can do a cleansing. You're not going to have a good night, though. Malfoy, I need you to give him some water and an empty bin. I can't give him potions while trying to purge the system. I'll need people to sit with him in case it goes wrong. What's going to happen? One of the younger Slytherins asked softly. Malfoy was the one to answer. His body's going to throw up all the toxins and potions in his system. It's similar to a detox. It really isn't a fun experience. Terence nodded. All right, Harry, you ready? I need you to roll on your side to face the bin so that you don't choke. Harry moved slowly and adjusted himself, wincing in pain. Gonna suck. Yes, it is. All right, drink this and it will start. He took the potion and downed it quickly. He felt it hit his stomach and warmth rushed through his body before the heavy nausea kicked in. Then he was greeting the potion and everything else for a second time.